I'm putting $1,000 on this play today, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how I came up with that. But before we get to that, we are going to go through the last couple days this weekend and show you exactly how we did inside the group. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, so let's start off on Saturday. On Saturday, we had Cody Bellinger to get a hit. He came through with us, got that done. Josh Rojas for the White Sox to not cross the plate. He did not cross the plate. We had the Brewers over 7.5. That one was a little bit of a sweat, and it ended up coming through for us. So we ended up hitting that one as well. Josh Bell to not cross the plate, but he did end up in his fourth at-bat. He was able to cross the plate, so we weren't able to get that. Then let's move on to Sunday. Sunday, we had Ronald Acuna to get over one hit. He got that in his first at-bat. He got a hit in the first two at-bats, so he crushed that. Then we had Brendan Donovan for the Cardinals to get a hit. He did not come through. He went 0 for 4. Then we had the Giants to go under 10. I don't know what happened in that game, but it started out decent, and then the pitching just got terrible, and this got blown up. So we ended up taking an L there. Then we had Toyota in the NASCAR race to win, the manufacturer by itself. And like I circled here, that was plus 120. That was actually a big play for us. We were able to really come through on that one. Now, for everybody that thinks all you do is minus 200, minus 300 plays, that's not always true. Sometimes there is value, especially in NASCAR, when you're able to find certain bets in NASCAR. All right, so through the weekend, we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3. We went 5 and 3. All right, not that impressive, right? But that's what happens. Sometimes you're not going to have a 9-0 weekend. Sometimes you're just going to have to ride the wave. That's the way that it goes in sports betting. And anybody that tells you different is absolutely lying and does not do this for a living. So let's go ahead and get into the play that I'm going to put $1,000 on today. Now let's jump into today's play, but before we get to that, I want to discuss something, okay? Yes, I say I'm putting $1,000 on this play, right? But what does that mean? I have to have a bankroll to supplement that, okay? I am not putting $1,000 on a game and I only have a couple $1,000 as a bankroll. Now, this is just another bet to me, okay? Because that's my unit size. My unit size is $1,000. So when I say I'm putting $1,000 on a game, it's just 1% of my unit size, okay? My bankroll is 100K. That's what my bankroll is, okay? To be able to do $1,000 bets. So just putting it out there so people understand, because I do see people in the comments that try to throw all the money that they got on these plays, and that is not what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah, you can get lucky and we can win one, and you double up your money or whatnot, or maybe you win, 50% of your money, depending on the odds of what we do. But I don't advise doing that because it's just another play, okay? And as you guys can see, it's the play that I give you, there's plenty of more plays as well that go through the day. I'm not just doing this one play. I'm doing other ones as well. So make sure that you guys are staying bankroll management-wise smart, because if you're not, you're going to lose your money regardless. Doesn't matter what play I give you. All right? And if you guys want the rest of my picks for the day and to be coached and me to show you exactly how you could hit a number like this as your bankroll, make sure you guys click the link down in the description. Now let's get to today's play. Last play that I gave you guys was a player prop. I think it was Rengifo to go under. We ended up hitting that one. Time before that, I think it was a total. We're going to switch it up. We're going to do a money line play here. All right? So a money line play that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about tonight's matchup between the Padres and the Nationals. All right? Padres and the Nationals. So let's do some little checks here. I like to do a couple checks. Let's do some checks. So first, pitching. We already know. If you've been watching baseball this year, the Nationals pitching is terrible. All right? So pitching, we're going to give an X, obviously, there. All right? A pitching here, we're going to give a check mark. So when it comes to starting pitching, I'm going to put starting pitching here, okay? The Nats starting pitcher tonight, he's 0 for 5. He gets blown up left and right. Padres starting pitcher, he's decent. He's not the greatest, but he is decent, okay? But he does get the mark here. Let's talk about the bullpens. All right, bullpens here. Bullpens, one of the worst bullpens in the league, if not the worst, is the Nationals. All right, so obviously they're going to get an X here because the Padres bullpen is one of the best. They're ranked 3rd, so they will get a check. All right, hitting. Let's talk about hitting. It's the better hitting team. This is actually a little bit close, okay? Nationals hitting bottom like 5 in the league, so they're not too great in hitting category. Padres not too great either, though. They're about bottom 10, okay? So bottom 10, but they still win this matchup here, okay? Next thing, It's going to be head-to-head. How do these teams go against each other? How do they fare? Now, the Padres, in the last 10 matchups against the Nationals, are 7-3. Okay? So they are pretty solid against the Nationals when they do play them. They haven't lost to the Nationals, I think, since 2023, it really seems like. All right? So tonight's matchup, we got, so far the odds right now, we have minus 180 on the Padres. Okay? Which isn't too bad. You can find that at Pinnacle. That's where that's at. But tonight we are going to take the money line on the Padres and let it roll. All right, we're going to go with the Padres money line. That's the play we're going to roll with. Because we should have decent starting pitching, and even if this pitcher over here for the Nationals somehow plays pretty well in the first 5 innings, they got to go against that bullpen. That bullpen, the Padres should be able to blow that bullpen up. Okay, so we should have a decent shot here for the Padres to be able to win tonight for us. And remember, when you have an edge, then every bet becomes a winning opportunity. As always, guys, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, I'm out.